Hello, welcome to Chris's Quick Tips for Google Sheets. If you have a table which is taller than the height of your screen, when you scroll down the screen, the title of each column in row 1 will scroll off the screen as shown. It would be much better if the heading for each column was still visible as you scroll down the list. The quickest way to do this is to use the mouse. Move the mouse to the thick bar at the bottom of the square at the top left corner of the sheet so that the mouse pointer changes into a hand. Then click the left button and hold the button down and drag the thick line to below row 1 and then drop it by releasing the left button. You can now scroll down the list and the heading remains visible. If you want to remove the frozen row, drag and drop the thick line back to the top left corner. Note how Google Sheet has automatically changed the rows to display row 2 immediately under row 1 now that there are no frozen rows. This shortcut is a much faster way of freezing panes than using the menu option. If you want to use the menu option, select a cell in the row that you want to freeze, then click View in the menu bar, then Freeze. Then in this case, you can either select one row or up to current row. Suppose your table has both column headings and row titles. In this case, if you scroll to the right, then column A with the row titles will scroll off the screen. For this table, you want to freeze the first column by dragging and dropping the thick line to the right of the box in the top left hand corner to the right hand edge of column A. If you now scroll to the right again, this time column A with the titles for each row now remains on the screen. This table also has headings for each column, so you can also freeze the top row by dragging the thick bar at the bottom of the square at the top left corner of the sheet down and dropping it below row 1. You can now scroll down the list and the headings remain visible. You can also scroll to the right and column A with the titles for each row now remains on screen. You may have a table that is a little more complex, like this table, which has 3 rows at the top which need to be frozen and 2 columns to the left that need to be frozen. I've just zoomed in on this table so that it is now too big to fit on the screen, and if you scroll to the right or down you will lose either or both of the column headings and the row titles. Using the mouse, drag the rows freeze pane indicator down to below row 3. Then you can drag the columns freeze pane indicator to the right of column B. Unfortunately, there is a problem because the title of the table is a single merged cell from A1 to L1, and Google Sheets does not allow you to freeze any columns that are part of a merged cell. I have changed the merged cell so that it is now C1 to L1 that are merged. I can now drag the columns freeze pane indicator to the right of column B. You can now scroll to the right and to the bottom, and the headings and the titles will remain on screen. And to remove the freeze panes, simply drag back. If you want to freeze the rows and columns using the menus, select the cell at the inside corner of the frozen area, in this case B3. Note, if you're familiar with using Excel, then this is different because in Excel you would select the top left of the unfrozen area, which in this case would be C4. Click View, then Freeze. You want to freeze the top 3 rows, so the default 1 row and 2 rows are not applicable, so you have to select the up to current row 3. This is why it is necessary to ensure the correct cell is selected before you click on the View Freeze menu options. You now need to do the same for the columns. This time you can click either on two columns or up to current column. If you have some rows with calculations above the table which you want to hide, these will not affect the frozen rows, or if you have hidden columns, the frozen columns.